want to show you how to repair a handbrake cable on a Hummer H3. Well, actually, it's not the handbrake cable, it's a bracket that holds the handbrake cable. It rusted off. Yeah, I know we can go get a welder and get someone to weld it there, or I go buy a welder and weld it up, but no, we didn't want to do that. We just wanted to fix it ourselves, something that will work, that we won't have to invest a whole lot of money. So this is what we did. This here is the handbrake cable that comes down from the front of the vehicle, and it connects down here to a joint where it goes back to both rear wheels. As you can see, it's just hanging there, and it does no good when you press on the handbrake cable because there's nothing for it to pull on. Because apparently this bracket here had almost like arms that would wrap around that bracket there, and these lips on this little metal thing would hold it in place. But here on the East Coast we have lots of rust, and it just rusted away. So what I'm planning on doing is fixing this. Now, if we had a welder, it'd be no trouble to fix it, but we don't have a welder, so we're trying an alternate way of making the handbrake work. So the first thing that I did is I went in with a chip and hammer, and I knocked off all of the loose rust on that metal bracket. And I went in with a wire scrubber to get more scale off, and then I went in with a Dremel and with a little grinder tool and grind down all the rust to get to the middle. And with that I discovered that there's some holes in that bracket, so I'm going to be patching that with a compound that I'm going to show you later. Then I had to figure out what to use as the circular bracket for the piece that rusted off. So I went out to Home Depot and I found these things. These are 3/4 inch EMT couplings. Quantity 3, I only needed 1. So I took it back, and it was a little bit too small. The inside diameter of this was a little bit too small for the part on the handbrake that I just showed you with the lip. So I cut a groove into it using my 4-inch grinder. And in addition, I also ground off the two. If you're familiar with EMT couplings, there are two little nubs there with screws in it. I ground those off. It was still a little small, so then I took my anvil, everybody has an 11-pound anvil, and just tapped it in around there to make it round so it would fit on over the metal piece on the handbrake cable. It slides on over that. The lip catches on the edge of the EMT coupling, and it fits snugly into or on the bracket that was there before. So now I have to figure out a way of attaching this here to the bracket. So to fill the holes in the bracket, I'm going to use some JB Weld, and I'm also going to use a little bit on the round coupling to see if it will stick to the bracket. And I'm also going to use 2, maybe 3 of these pipe clamps to hold it in place. I also put a small piece of water bottle plastic up behind the metal, so to give me something to fill in against. So it's 24 hours later, and the JB Weld on the bracket here has hardened up quite nicely. So the next step is to install this round bracket. What I did is I went with a file and I put some hash marks in it like that so the JB Weld can grab it. As I'm going to put that on over the handbrake cable, I'm going to mix up some JB Weld and put in here on the bracket on the frame, and then just attach it and then put some pipe clamps on it. And then it should all form up quite nicely. So this I'm going to put on the bracket. So this JB Weld, I'm just going to goop up in there, build it up a little bit, like that, and this should just seat in there. So I'm going to grab a zip tie and wrap around there to temporarily hold it in place. Okay, now I'll put a pipe clamp on it. So when this hardens up, I will trim off this clamp and probably add a couple of other clamps to make sure that it's held in place. So 24 hours later, I just cut off the little zip tie that was there. We're going to put on 2 more clamps onto this here and then test the handbrake. So here we have all 3 clamps clamped onto the round bracket, which has been JB welded to a bracket on the chassis that has been JB welded to support it. We're going to try it now, and it should work. And then I'm just going to trim up these tails of these clamps to make it look a little neater. Okay, pushing in on the handbrake. And here it is, all finished. We have the tails of the clamps trimmed off. We tested it, tested the handbrake, and it works fine. So that should last until something else goes wrong. Thanks for watching.